Hi, guys. Welcome to the 50 Cal studio here at Center Target Firearms and Indoor Range. I'm Brett. This is Bobby, and
Hey
Bobby's back
guys.
after taking a little
Yes, a
hiatus,
little
and
hiatus on
glad to
you.
have you home.
Back in action. Back in
And
action.
Bobby, we've got a lot of things to talk about today, and there's a lot on this table, as you can see. First off, first things first, these firearms have been checked; they're clear, and they're all good to go.
Three times.
Three times, yeah,
Yeah.
we double check, so and triple check at times. But Bobby, today we're talking about CZ.
CZ, all things CZ today.
Yes. And I tell you, CZ is one of those that, from competition to the everyday carry to the tactical stuff, it's just, yeah, from top to bottom, it's just great.
Oh yeah, to me, CZ is the best gun maker people have heard of, but a
Sure.
lot a lot of folks haven't really gotten to know real good.
Exactly.
They got so many different variants and so many different options available that it's amazing what a piece of equipment these things are. And you go back to the history of CZ, how it come about. Again, it's like all other things. A couple guys getting together and saying, let's come up with a design, or let's take
Sure.
over a gun company, or whatever the case may be. But I made some notes here, some things that stood out to me about the CZ when I was just trying to kind of put some information together about things that stood out to me. And I own some of these CZs, so some of it's coming from personal experience
There
as
you
well,
go.
and you
Yeah.
as well.
I
I know
do.
we
I
got
do.
some of your
Yeah.
stuff here, but the breadth of the products, the different products they've got. They got shotguns, they got rifles, they got rim fire calibers up to safari calibers, or what you classify as safari calibers. They've got weapons that are firearms that are that military for military personnel.
Sure.
Uh, as you mentioned, the competition shooter, the collector. You know, Jason Kinzer. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yes.
Jason or not, but Jason, we should have had Jason come on here with us because you talk about an aficionado of the CZ product and all the different variants that they have. They got tons of them. They're basically something for everyone
Yeah.
with regard to this.
Yeah, they are. And, some of them competition. The competition stuff to me is just amazing. The triggers are just stupid. I mean, they
Yeah.
really, really are.
Well, you can see here. This is a CZ Checkmate, and the Checkmate has a compensator on it. It's 9 millimeter.
Yes.
Has a compensator on it. Has a Seymour optic that comes with it. Uh, Absolutely ridiculous. I think the triggers maybe set at 1.8 pounds or something along those lines. It's got uh, the configuration. It's got the gas pedal or the brake pedal or whatever you want to call it as far as your thumb rest is
Exactly.
concerned. The Tac Sport Orange, which we have one of those over there. I've got the Tac Sport Orange, and it's the most accurate pistol I have ever shot in my
Wow.
life.
Yeah.
And I've shot a lot of pistols. I mean, I'm comparing it to 1911s. I'm comparing it to 1911s with the barrel bushing on the front, and it is the most accurate, and it's the one I use for bullseye competition as well. And again, like you said, the trigger on it is ridiculous. Reset off the hook, and then you got the Tac Sport. I'm sorry, the Shadow Two,
Yes.
Shadow Two, which has taken over the USPSA pistol competition, the production division. It's in a league of its own.
And when you're holding these, they just feel right. I mean, they fit the ergonomics, everything on them, and I think that's a lot with the accuracy you're talking about. But they are just a handgun that will just it just fits.
It does, and the ergonomics. If you put it in your hand, you know for a fact that one, the first thing people do is they look at you and they say, "Man, this fits me really
Yeah.
good." And then regardless of which one they pick up and which one they use, and usually that's the thing about there's so many different variants that there's one that's going to fit your hand, or there's different things you can do to it to make it fit you better. But uh, the kind of like the lower bore axis, especially
Yes.
for the 75, because like whenever they were first developed and CZs first come into play between World War I and World War II, they were basically making rifles and handguns based on a Mauser design, and they were making their weapons for the military, and it was illegal then, being kind of a part of a Soviet state to be to they were getting their orders from Moscow, so they were restricted about what they could and couldn't do, and who they could sell it to. Well, then the to me, the staple of CZ and where they really started setting themselves apart was when the development of the 75, which ultimately was based on it was designed high capacity, 9 millimeter, designed for export, and a couple guys got together and they designed this with no restrictions. Just what would you do if you had to come up with a gun? I think was kind of their thought process, and they designed it based a little bit on the Browning high power. But some of the things that make it unique, and you've seen them before, is the slide actually sitting inside the frame as opposed to sitting on top of it, which lowers that bore axis, less felt recoil because you don't have it all, way up high, and the lockup and the spacing and all those different things is just ridiculously tight. Tolerances, you can definitely tell. Some people complain, well, some of these are heavy. Well, they got polymer if it's too heavy for you, but I really like that feel of that steel because it helps with recoil. But I know I've got a firearm in my hand whenever I'm
You
shooting
do,
it.
and the balance with all steel, I just love the balance.
I do too, and they're fast. They just and there's so many different things you can do to them as well. There's a lot of custom shops out there that they specialize in nothing but the CZ in just enhancing and doing things to them, an already spectacular weapon, doing things to that.
Yes.
It just makes it even that much better.
Out of the box, you don't really have to do a lot to them out of the box. I mean, they all have great triggers.
They do.
They just look great, and really, I've got a P10 and with the threaded barrel, and it's just like it is out of the box, and
Yeah.
just it's great.
And those are some more options. You can get, like, for example, the P10. You can get
Yes,
you can get the full size. You can get the compacts.
yes,
You can get the one that's got a threaded barrel. Now, with optics being a more prevalent with a lot of the handguns, it's a lot of them are cut for that. So there's just a spec. And you, we learn a lot from just people bringing back guns and saying this one's broke, this one doesn't
sure.
work, this one. I don't know of. I can't remember getting a CZ back and somebody saying this one doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
And Bobby, that's good information. And the from the compacts to the full size to the home defense things, CZ does some other things that people may be aware of. Some do, some don't, and that's hunting.
Oh, absolutely. You got rifles, as we mentioned earlier, everything from your rimfire calibers up to your safari calibers.
Sure.
We got a few back here. This one, as you said, they've been checked, and we'll check them again because you can't check too much. But you can see the quality. This is a bolt action rifle here. You see the quality, and the wood is absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
The feel and the design, and people rave about the accuracy of the CZs.
From the handguns all the way to the rifles, they it's craftsmanship. I mean,
It
look at
is.
that
It
wood on
is.
that one, and then the way the ergonomics are on these firearms here, just everything about them. Looking at them, they take their time and they do because you've seen that.
Yes. Yes.
We've all seen some firearms that look like they've been thrown together.
Yes, yes,
So
and feel like they've been thrown together,
and
shoot
shoot,
like they've
yeah,
been thrown
yeah,
together.
yeah,
Now, also, we'll talk to you here a little bit about some of your stuff as well, because I know we've got, out on the floor, we've got the Bren.
yes.
That's another firearm that's made by CZ, as well as the Scorpion Evo.
The Scorpion Evo. I actually purchased this here.
Yes, sir.
I've done a lot to it.
Mhm.
I've put a brace on it, a foldable brace on it, of course.
Right.
Traded out the grip because
Mhm.
if you've shot a scorpion, the grip's a little bit awkward. Trade out the trigger. Trigger they have a heavy trigger, so I traded out
Mhm.
the trigger. I moved the charging handle to the right side from the left. I just love this little gun. I kept the sights on. A lot of people, when they get these, say, "Hey, we want to change out the sights and so forth." I have a red dot on there, but I kept those because
Yep.
I have a way if this fails, if I
Yep.
ever need it, this fails to just rip it off and use these. I didn't want to put anything on because these are decent size,
Absolutely.
for backup. So I love that. They come out of the box with a couple of 20 round mags.
Mhm.
You can actually purchase from Magpul and some others that have extended mags. So it's just a fun little pistol to shoot, and I just really have fun with it. And it's like an AR.
Right.
You can do whatever. I mean, I've got a huge light on there, uh, But I mean, you make it yours, just like any AR platform or anything or any firearm. You make it yours, and that's what I did with this. And I just love it. This is a fun little gun to shoot. These are good home defense weapons.
Yes.
They're good truck firearms or whatever you want to do, but they're fun, 9 millimeter.
Right.
So they're just I can't say enough about durable. You can beat the heck out of them.
Throw it in the truck.
Yes, I've got a buddy who has one, and he makes me nervous.
Yep.
He just throws it. He doesn't care, but they work like all the CZ stuff does.
And we're going to have more discussions, as you know, on self defense and different things along
Sure,
those lines.
sure.
But the redundancy associated with, from a self defense
Sure.
standpoint, what if the optic fails? What if this fails?
Yes.
This has a platform to do pretty much anything and
is.
everything you would want to it. So. Yeah, the different calibers, the different variants, the different, we talked about shotguns. You got semi-automatic, you got single shot, you got side-by-sides, whatever you want, they've got something for everybody. And, imitation is kind of the purest form of
It is,
flattery.
it is.
And one of the things that stands out as well is that CZ is cloned or copied arguably more than any other weapon that I know of. Tanfoglia, Magnum Research, IWI, Canic, just to mention a few, are variants, or some of their variants are clones of the CZ. And a lot of times you think, well, a clone's not going to be quality or whatever, and those are quality,
They really are.
firearms
Yes.
and quality weapons at a good price. And why reinvent the wheel when you've got something that's as good as this is? So if you're looking for a firearm, a weapon, you're looking for something to try that you've not just yet. There's something in the CZ family is going to fill that void for you. You're going to fill that void.
Yes, and you can find these here. You can find these here and check them out. Like the Bren's out there right now, which is an awesome firearm. But you've got them, Bobby, and
Yeah.
and all these guys here can tell you anything you need to know about these things. Just track down Bobby; he'll tell you.
And if you're on the fence, come in and shoot one.
Yeah.
Because we got plenty back here you can shoot. And one quick example, the Tac Sport Orange.
Yes.
Whenever I was, I had a little extra money saved up, and I talked to the wife, and I said, I'm going to buy me a new gun. And at the time, I was looking at the STI. I was torn between the DVC 3 gun and the tactical STI DVC tactical pistol. And a friend of mine had both, and I took them back to the back. And I'm clarify or make sure we put this out there. They are two absolutely spectacular firearms. Yes, the STI they're awesome. But I took it back to the back. I was going to take the two back and decide between the two because that's what I kind of decided on. And there was in the store here, there was a used Tac Sport Orange. Sam Bench had traded in. Sam, if you're watching, you know the rest of the story on this. I actually took it to the back. I said, well, I'll just take this back there too. So I
Sure.
got something else to compare to. I ran them through speed drills. I ran them through accuracy drills. I ran them through all those different things. And I had the money to buy the STI DVC 3 gun, the DVC Tactical, and the Tac Sport Orange being used was cheaper and would be cheaper if it would be new as well.
Yeah.
But actually purchased the Tac Sport Orange. And that was just, and a lot of things is just personal preference. That's not saying
Sure.
that you could have went back and maybe chose the DVC 3 gun because I wanted to get the others as well. But that one, that's how good it showed up. I called the wife and I said, well, I got good news. I saved a lot of money,
Yeah.
bought a new pistol. She didn't like the orange. She was like,
Yeah.
she said, you need to paint the orange. And then I said, well, that's not a problem. I did a little research and you can get, even through CZ, you've got options to put red. This CZ 75 here, I think I've seen them with red grips on them, silver grips, and there's a lot of aftermarket companies out there as
The
well.
blue is amazing.
Yeah, blue is.
I kind of like the orange. I'm in this
yeah.
orange phase here lately. My wife gives me all kinds of crap about my flashlights. I've got
Right.
some orange flashlights some for everyday carry.
Well, they're
some
easy
just
to
around the
find,
house.
right?
They are. If you drop them there, because at our age we have to look, we have to see
Exactly.
things. But the triggers on these are just like I said earlier.
Uh-huh.
A lot of folks here, law enforcement, Department of Corrections backgrounds, and I've heard of more than one person hears talk about how ridiculous trigger is because it's so light. And my suggestion is, if you see one at the range desk, try it out. Try
Yes.
that trigger out because it surprised me, and I wasn't even shooting one. I'm going to try to shoot one soon, but they make me nervous because
Right.
it's just so
Yeah, it's and the different trigger options or the
yeah.
different action options you've got as well. You've got
Sure.
CZ makes striker fired, they make single action, they make double action, they make double single.
Yeah.
They pretty much whatever you want. You want a little heavier trigger, they've got that. You want the competition grade uh, bullseye trigger or trigger that's more suitable for bullseye shooting, then they've got that as well. So a lot of different things.
And with everything that we've talked about today, Bobby, if I'm watching this, I want to come check out CZ.
Yes, yes. If you've not laid hands, if you've heard of CZ, not laid hands on one, or you've heard of them and shot one in the past, but want to see all the different variants, come in and try one of
Sure.
these because, or compare it to something else that you're thinking about shooting because it's military. We're just talking about stuff that military, law enforcement, competitive shooters, collectors have known and talked about for years and years and years. Somebody said it's the best kept secret in firearms. I don't know that it's a secret. I just don't
Yeah.
know that everybody knows everything there is to know about these.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we've been trained to know one one brand,
Right.
and you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And we've been programmed, and I've been out here before, just looking around, shopping around. I don't tell my wife when I'm doing that, but shopping around, and you hear people come in and say, "I want this,
Yep.
I want this, I want this." But I think that they're just programmed,
They are.
and then once you
A lot
get
of
to
times.
a yeah, and once you get to a certain level, or even I think it's an age thing,
Mhm.
you see what's out there, and I tell you, folks, with the CZ, I'm my next firearm I purchase is going to be a CZ, and I'm looking at it right now. But it's they're just magnificent. Just they're on target. They're built well, and you
Mhm.
can I don't abuse them,
Right.
but they're tough.
Well, here's a good proof or good evidence of the quality and how good they are. I've not known of anybody that's ever bought a CZ that came back in and said, "I don't like this," or "This
No,
is junk." Now
yeah,
they've all said, some have said, I want another one. I want
sure,
additional one." And these are spectacular. That's what we get. That's what
yeah.
we get whenever people should. And I'm sure there are people out there that'll say, "Well, I have 99%." Then, and
They
I've seen 100% because
oh
we've
yeah.
had nobody bring one back
Yeah,
in here that
and
didn't
and
like
the trigger on these scorpions are a little heavy,
it.
and
Hmm.
anybody who has a scorpion knows that. And I, just trade it out.
Yeah.
It didn't take long to drop in that trigger. It dropped it. It dropped the pool a lot, and it
Mhm.
shoots a lot better. But they're just great firearms. There's nothing bad I could ever say about them because I've never had an
No.
issue with any CZ I've ever fired.
No, the quality and craftsmanship is really good. In this day and age where a lot of things, to put things together quicker, to make
Yes,
things work better, or whatever, uh, people cut corners and compromise and those different things, and that's not been the case. They also now they purchased Dan Wesson, and they now own Dan Wesson as well.
sure.
So now they got a little bit of 1911 action going there with them as well. And the folks who've ever shot a Dan Wesson know that
Oh
that
yeah.
that again too is quality and really really nice
Yes.
products
Yes,
that
they
Dan
are. I
Wesson
shot
makes.
one time, and I thought, I want to quit because that's too high tier for me. And Colt,
Yeah, yeah. They purchased I think February. They purchased CZ purchased Colt as well. So
wow,
a lot of things going on in the CZ world, and now in the day and age of a lot of people going pulling the plug, popping smoke, and
yeah,
saying, we're done. They're expanding and not expanding by just buying somebody you've never heard of either. When you start talking about Dan Wesson, the Colts of the world, and all these different things, that's you're a major leaguer at that point.
yeah, yes, you are. And Bobby, I think we've covered everything on this. I mean, it's just folks come in to Center Target and check them out. They have them here. Check out the brand that's out there,
Yeah.
and see Bobby and the gang here, Joe, Jim. Everybody here can help you. Um, it's nice to see a place where people come in and ask a question, and you guys take time with that person, and I've seen it firsthand with my wife,
Right.
and it's just so nice because you got questions, you can answer them.
And it's a very unique shop as well.
Sure.
It's you can come in, you can actually lay hands on any one of these.
Yes.
You can if it's on the range rental counter or it's a used gun, you can go back and shoot it.
Sure.
Obviously, if it's new, you can't shoot
Yeah.
them. But they can touch them, see how they feel. And they don't have to go to a counter and say, I need to see this one, I need to see this. And sometimes they
Exactly.
feel like they're bothering people and all those
You
different
do.
things. With this setup, you know, basically you go in, you say, I like that when you get it off the rack, and you have a lot of people say, we'll walk by a lot of people and say, you can just get them off there and handle them if you want to. And they're like, what?
I
Are
know.
you serious?
It's
Are you
it's
sure?
it's a great setup, and it was different for me the first day I walked in here a couple of years ago, a few years ago, and it gets you in trouble. I
It
mean,
does, it
I've
does.
bought a lot from here just because you can actually take them and look at them, feel how they set up and everything, and it can get you in trouble with your wife or your girlfriends or something. But yeah, we have a lot of the guys here know not to tell my wife, so it's a
Hopefully she's not watching.
Ah, it doesn't matter at this point, but it's a good setup here. And Bobby, Christmas coming up,
Oh yeah.
and the guys here at Center Target want to help you with that Christmas gift, whether it's gift cards, got sweatshirts,
Got
you got all
sweatshirts.
kinds of clothing line, coffee,
Mhm.
um, and everything you need from
Ammo. You can spend as
yeah,
little or as much as you
you
want.
can, and it's a great time of year. The Christmas tree out front looks great, and come on by and see them if you're looking for a stocking stuffer.
Mhm.
CZ would be a great stocking stuffer for me,
Without
by the
question.
way. But check them out, and please subscribe and like
Mhm.
this video. We want to try to get it out to as many people as possible. Share it, tell your friends about it, and Bobby, it's good to see you.
Yes,
Good to
good to
have
be
you back
back.
home.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing self defense
Yes,
discussions. We're gonna have a lot of different discussions that are going to benefit folks as we go through this. So as Brett said, get this information out to as many people as you
yes.
can about our podcast here, and
Since we've
hopefully
been
it continues to grow.
since we've been doing this, I've had a lot of questions. With my radio background and everything, people ask all the time about, are you going to cover this? You're going to cover
Yeah.
that. And I think we've done a great job. Joe was here with me last week talking about the
Yes.
constitutional carry, which was
Hmm.
great.
Oh yeah.
And we've talked about concealed carry firearms, which we have a lot up here. But we want to get that information out. So want to thank you guys for watching today. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it. And we'll see you here next week.
See you guys.